Aloha, Candace Fox here, your Master Soul Alchemist and spiritual healer and conscious relationship coach. What's up, Mamacitas? I'm really excited to share with you today on the topic of living in the flow. It's actually been one of the things that I'm really striving to get more in, especially as I've shifted and changed a lot of things in my life to accommodate my health, accommodate my education, accommodate my career, accommodate my relationship. There's a lot of things that are shifting and flowing in my life, and it's more designed by me than ever before because I've now chosen it. Now, I'm excited to share with you about this topic, living in the flow, because there are some important elements about living in the flow that can support your life. And as you're in this zone of shifting and changing your lives and getting more healthy and incorporating menus and foods and exercises, there's an element of jolting and, adapting and allowing your energy to accommodate these new changes that feel sometimes disjointed, right? And when you're in the flow, it's kind of because you've gotten to know yourself with these elements. You've gotten to adapt to what it is that you like about certain things. And now you're creating meaning for yourself as you do this work. So it's really profound to live in the flow because when you do, guess what? There's less effort, there's more ease, there's more intention, as well as more connectedness. So, there are 5 things I want to share with you today about living the flow. The first and foremost is being present. Now, a lot of times when we're not present and here with one another or with ourselves, then we're often where? Here, right? And when we're here, this mind is full of information, ideas, and past experiences that can catch us into a story, into a narrative of who we think we are. And when we are caught in that beautiful trap sometimes, then we can go down the rabbit hole into thinking that certain things are going to be occurring in the now when they aren't. And what I mean about that is oftentimes we go into energies of shame, of guilt, of fear, or of sadness and unhappiness because we remember a time when this occurred. We remember that we failed when this happened. We remember many things, but if you can tune into that key word, remember, right? That's already sharing with us that we are not right here, right now. So we got to come back to the present. And one of the best ways to do that is breathing, right? When we breathe, we take our attention out of our mind into our breath and into our bodies. Do that now. Take a deep breath in and release it out. Take a deep breath in, release it out. Noticing as you take a deep breath in, all that air rush in through your nose and then releasing it out of your mouth. For that moment, did you think? Probably not. Maybe for a split second, right? But when you're breathing, you're here. And then guess what happens? The mind stops running, brings attention to the present, and then guess what? We activate the prefrontal cortex, which has the opportunity to think logically, to find solutions, to see beyond what our mind is saying, because the mind already knows what it's experienced before, and therefore it's already creating a scenario or a story, an idea about that scenario, and then literally you're impressing upon your present moment with the same experience. But guess what? We are in the now, and in the now is a whole new set of experiences. But without you being the experiencer of it, you're just going to repeat the past, right? So being present gives you an opportunity to be here now and allow yourself to have an experience that is more likely to be in the state of flow rather than in the past or possibly in the future where maybe worries occur or fears occur, right? Because we're now projecting a past onto the future, right? And then you totally miss the present, right? Where the present really is that gift that allows us to change our circumstances and the way we do things and the way we think about things and the way that we feel things right here in the moment. Okay, so number one to living in the flow is being present. I know it's not easy, but with practice and with the breath work, it gets easier. I promise, because you're now here. The mind is not choosing for you, and then you can have access to the mind where it will work for you to come up with the solutions rather than bring you into the reactionary state of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, or anything else that goes into your mind, right? So, secondly, is to be honest with yourself, right? A lot of times we um, are like telling ourselves little white lies, right? If we aren't present in the moment and allowing ourselves to take stock of what's really going on, then we can't work with what is, right? What I mean about that is oftentimes we fake it till we make it, right? And that's a term that has been very much used and abused around everywhere. There's no faking it till you make it. It's the choice in the here and now that gives you the opportunity to change, because you're essentially in this present moment creating yourself. So you're not faking it. You're actually making the honest to God choice in this moment to go towards whatever it is that you want. So say for instance you are working out. The mind will go, oh, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you have no muscles, blah 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 blah. Right? So if we bring ourselves in the present moment, the honest truth is, well, I haven't been taking care of myself. I haven't done those things. And now I'm about to face myself and make a choice and say, you know what? I'm going to work out. And it's not going to be pretty. And it's not going to look like how I maybe looked when I was in my 20s working out like solid. Like, this is me in this moment right now, beginning again. And as I begin again, it's a whole new experience. So if you're honest with yourself, and especially honest with your feelings, right? Like, oh my God, I'm really scared to actually start doing this. I'm scared that I'm going to hurt myself. But guess what? Those aren't true. It's these ideas based on the past. So we course correct. We allow ourselves to be honest and go, wait, I am this old now. I haven't worked out. I am feeling a bit scared. So let me ease into this experience and not, you know, do all the things that I used to do as I was 20 and like hurt myself and then never return, because that is how we sabotage ourselves, right? If we're not honest with who we are at this moment and an acceptance of who we are, then we're definitely going to go back to the way things used to be, but we aren't that person anymore. We are here right now with who we are. And if we are in honest and being honest with ourselves, we can actually begin to work with what we have, right? And when we can work with what we have, then the beautiful thing that happens is then we can support ourselves through this process. Because guess what? Our feelings do exist. And if we ignore them, then they are going to pull us down, because our feelings can sometimes be so strong, feel like they can overtake us, and then they wash us out to sea without any life jacket, right? So we want to be honest with our feelings too, because if we do feel scared, like, it's okay to feel scared, right? I'm about to run a half marathon on Sunday, and I am scared. I'm anxious. I'm feeling all of these things because it's been a while since I've ran for that long period of time. However, the truth is I've been training 3 days a week, and I have had the evidence of doing these longer runs and feeling fine. So my mind, because I wasn't present, is just going into these emotional feelings that are stored in my body that I've got to breathe through and pay attention to and acknowledge. So I'm going to acknowledge that fear. I'm going to acknowledge that anxiety and breathe through it and know that I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be safe, and I can adjust myself at any time because I have that control, right? I have that ability to make choices in my life, right? So if at any time during this run I don't feel good, or I feel like something is, hurting, I can walk and still finish the race. I can adjust my speed and still finish the race. I'm going to be okay. And if I can have my back and support my feelings, then everything's going to work out right. But guess what? A lot of us do is we don't acknowledge our feelings. We push it down, push it to the wayside, like, nope, I'm not going to feel it because it seems way too overwhelming. And with feeling my feelings comes all of the times that I might have stuffed my feelings. And when I've stuffed my feelings, oh God, I'm not even going to look at that. No way, no how. But guess what happens? Those feelings are like, hey, creep up and they want to express themselves. They want to release, but we keep stuffing them down, right? So these feelings are at the surface. If you acknowledge them and give them a place at the table, so to speak, then they can reveal to you some amazing things about yourself, right? And I would love for you to do that now. Just take a moment and tune into your body. Take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Notice what feeling might be on the edge or the verge of your system. And most of the time it could be, anger, it could be sadness, or it could be fear. Those are like the three primary ones. Notice what's there for you and allow yourself to breathe through it. See if there's any emotions, other emotions that are attached to it. Notice if there's a memory or there's even a lesson or a blessing there for you. And you can ask, maybe if it's fear, why are you here today? What are you trying to tell me? And allow the vision or the words or something to like envelop you and support you through this. And as you do so, you're being so present and acutely aware of these emotions, and you breathe through them. And when you have that information, take in a deep breath, breathe it out, and come back, right? And it'll give you this beautiful awareness of yourself. And when you're honest with yourself and feeling your feelings, then you have more wonderful resources to get through whatever you're going through. So it's really powerful and really amazing. And that's how you can get in the flow, because guess what? Most of the time what's stopping us from being on our flow is we aren't feeling the feelings that are here at the surface. We hide them away. But if we really pay attention to them, they begin to release. Yay? And then we're back in the flow because they're not holding us back. They're not saying, hey, we can't move forward without you acknowledging us. And granted, you can push us away and push us away, but we're right here, right? The next thing about being in the flow is being intentional. Now, this is interesting because we are meaning makers of our lives. And if we make meaning of our lives, we're literally doing and creating the things that we want. But a lot of times our meanings can be misconstrued because the meanings of what we want aren't really ours in the first place. They might be our parents or our children or our spouses or our friends, right? And therefore we're living their lives and their way of being when it's not really ours. So it's really important to come to an intention with yourself. Like I've been really practicing this daily because a lot of me has a lot of fear and all these emotions about things that are happening in my life. And I just go about my day like a rudderless ship, like just reacting to everything, right? So if I'm intentional and I wake up and I'm just taking my first breath of the morning consciously, I'm just like, I want to feel powerful today, or I want to feel more freedom today. And the wonderful thing about that is the universe answers us, right? So if we wake up with like, oh my God, I wonder what's going to go wrong today, right? Because we might have not been present and we're like reacting from our past circumstances, and then we're not breathing deeply and we're just in our shallow breath, we are literally creating anxiety. And then it's like, oh God, what's going to go wrong today? What are you creating? That intention creates, I wonder what's going to go wrong today. And then this breaks down and that happens and this happens and that happens. And then we're all over the place like, oh my God, there's so many things that went wrong today. But if that was your intention, boom, look at what you're creating, right? So in essence, you're kind of in the flow with that because you're making your life mean that something is going to go wrong, and the universe answers back and says, all right, let me show you what can go wrong to get today, right? Because guess what? You are the creator of your life. And if you're making the meaning and you're not setting the intentions of how you want to experience, you are at the mercy of what? This bad boy. This is what your life has been all about. And within here is like the whole host of ideas, beliefs, and memories that you know life to be. And if you've been experiencing life all wrong and you continue to do that, then you're going to experience life all wrong, right? It takes a little bit of energy to create an intention, which actually, what I've learned is a positive feedback, meaning we are changing things. But if we are in a negative feedback, nothing is changing, right? Because we're doing the same thing over and over and over again without having a different way of looking at things. And when we don't have a different way of looking at things, nothing changes, right? But if we're like, okay, I'm ready to be curious about my life and do something different, then that energy is going to shift us, right? Because now it's opening up the curtains, the veil of what we've known into what might be possible, right? But we don't always allow ourselves to think about what is possible, because possibility, it might have been really ingrained in our heads, like nothing good ever comes out of thinking or doing things, right? You know, because maybe other people have felt like a failure too, and they project that onto you as a child. Or you can't get this. Why do you think you deserve that, right? That also becomes something, a part of us, that then we go, well, I don't deserve that. Then I'll just do this because this is what I've been given, right? But remember, there's so much more than meets the eye, and the opportunity to see ourselves in a better light, to believe in ourselves, to be intentional about where we wish to go and what we wish to create is there if we so choose it. So being intentional will definitely put you in the flow of a higher way of being, but you've got to choose it. The next thing I wanted to share about being in the flow is being authentic, right? If we are not who we are, then think about the life that you would create, not the life that you want, right? And if you're not authentically you and you're saying yes to these things and no to those things based on like maybe people pleasing or obligation or thinking it's the right thing to do, then you're following the path of other people's ways of living, which can feel like you're stepping on toes. You gotta be smaller than, you have to be considerate here, you gotta do this there, and you literally close up who you are because you're operating from these fragmented pieces of who you think you should be, right? But if you are authentically you and you choose and you be present with yourself, you feel your feelings, you're honest with yourself, you're intentional, like you are now creating from a side of you that really is a place where you are choosing authentically from you. But guess what? A lot of people said, you're too much, you're too this, you're too that, da da da, and you've let other people dictate who you are. But if you remember who you really are, which is wholly and completely and spiritually and humanly you, this is your life and you get to create it. And in that authenticity, guess what happens, right? Not the worst or the bad things. Oh, hell no. Quite the opposite. It's like all of a sudden, because you are finally choosing you and being who you are, everything that is meant for you, guess what? Ting, like gets magnetically attracted to you because you are being you, and that's what life has always wanted you to be. You can't be anyone else. You can't pretend to be this or that because it doesn't work. Being you and wholly you sets you on that right path to actually attract the best synchronicities, because finally you are living for yourself and who you are, right? So being authentically you gives you this opportunity to set the stage for what you wish to do and what you wish to create. And it's a powerful thing. And last but not least, to living in the flow is being wildly curious, right? And I love this one because when we're wildly curious about what is possible, then we actually allow ourselves to creatively think about what could be possible, right? And in that, like, this is where people have created things out of nothing, right? Think about people who have had the opportunity to see beyond the veil, see beyond what they've known, and drum up all these creative things that are quite possible. And because of that, then we get really passionate. We get creative. We use our mind to make things different than what we've seen. And the universe wants to support that. Why? Because it is a creator. It wants to create new things. It's like, okay, we've experienced this. What else is possible? We experienced this. What else is possible? Right? And when you start creating things like artwork or songs or music or even, new technology or a baby, it's like the best in the world because it's this new energy that you get to like work with and come into like reality, right? And that when you're wildly curious about what is, it's like the is part is going to seek you out and go, well, here I am, look at this, right? That's what I love about energy work and what I'm doing is I'm wildly curious about seeing beyond this three-dimensional realm into the wonderful spiritual realm where energy exists. I mean, scientists can look down to the very tiny atoms and electrons of things and they see things that no human eye has ever seen before, right? And now here I am, like peering through what we think is to see beyond that. And because of that, I'm able to work with other people and heal them at these cellular levels because there are these images or clouds or structures beyond this here that I can tune into. And it's so powerful. So, living in the flow obviously takes a lot of different parts of us to come together. But the most important thing is if we are here right now, present with ourselves, honest, intentional, authentic, and wildly curious about what is here, then bam, it is a recipe for all of this ease and flow and um, allowance of things to just bless your life, right? We don't necessarily have to work hard for it because ultimately that joy inside, that curiosity is going to drive us to keep looking. What's here? What's here? What's here? And that's who we were for most of us when we were kids, unless we had like abusive homes and whatnot. But ultimately, that innocence, that purity has always been there. And right now, with living in the flow, if you can embody that part of yourself again, be wildly curious of why you're here, what is life showing to you, then the flow is just going to take you in that beautiful stream of life and like open you up to this like ocean of possibilities with that life jacket, right? And saying you are safe. I've got your back and let's explore. So I'm really excited that you came to watch today. If any of this resonates for you and you're feeling some of this energy, then I encourage you to allow that curiosity, let your flow happen, and walk through this life in awe of all the miracles and the blessings that surround you. And if you are having trouble with any of these points, then message me. I'd love to work with you. I'm offering a discounted rate, and we can work on something. And if you want to take it deeper, then I encourage you to come and join myself and my business partner, Nikayla, as we are opening up a new cohort of students for our energy healing school. Where you're going to learn about yourself, learn about what blocks you from living your most fabulous life and in the flow, and really get a huge understanding about who you are. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a fabulous week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.